I go straight from the bank, gassing up the tank, cranking up the radio, playing old Hank. It ain't that long till I'm back at the pond.
So everybody has a babysitter story. In the case of me, Boo, and the Goob, the babysitter turns out to be prisoners at the county jail. How bad can that go? All right, well, get ready. I'm Bill Garner. This is the Empty Nest Bar and Grill. Get ready to remember what it's like to be a kid and to find out just how far in the shitter a babysitter can go.
Pulling up the truck, down at the dock. It's time to do some cruising, baby, get a little stuck. It's a Saturday joyride. Percy Priest is the spot to take the blues away. We're on a boat.
Okay, so the boy is visiting his grandparents. His grandparents turn him over to the sheriff to have the sheriff kind of watch him. But really, it's the prisoners in the county jail that are watching the boy. He's going out and working in the garden every day with them. And this is the story of what happens when the state troopers screw up and toss a bank robber in with them. Okay, so it's the story of the big bastard. Get ready to laugh a little bit about this, and after the reading, we'll come back and I'll tell you the backstory. I'll tell you what really happened with bank robbers and car chases in Mississippi. See you soon.
Feeling fine. Drinking Tennessee whiskey, a big blue sky. We're going up, we're coming down. There's a party on the water. It's a hell of a time.
The new guy had been in a hell of a fight with the state troopers. They beat the crap out of him. From the looks of his hands, I could tell he must have landed a few good blows on them, too. He just lay on the floor for a few seconds. Everybody except for me rushed over to help him up. He was a mean one. He pushed everyone away and managed to get up by himself. He went over to the sink and tried to clean himself up a bit. He spit out a tooth. I sat down over by EJ and just watched. My chest hurt, and I was still coughing up some blood. That mean fellow finally finished cleaning up and turned around. He looked all around the room, kind of checking everyone out. He stopped when he saw me sitting there by EJ. He just stared for a minute. Then he walked over to us. He smiled real big and he looked right at me. And he punched EJ right in the face. EJ's head snapped back and he hit the bars behind us. EJ slid down to the floor. The big bastard said, "You're my ticket out of here, boy." And he reached over and snatched me up by my shirt. Holy cow, that was a whole new kind of pain. I woke up in the floorboard of somebody's police car. I could tell that we were moving real fast down a gravel road somewhere because the car had that floating feeling you get when you're driving really fast on gravel. That big bastard had me and he was making an escape. He was driving like hell and watching in the rearview mirror and telling somebody on the radio to back off or he was going to kill me. Suddenly, I needed to pee, but I just knew that right now was not the time to ask to stop. I was coughing up a good bit more blood now, a lot more than my knee had bled when I fell in the ditch, and my chest was hurting really, really bad. The big guy didn't know that I had come to, so I just lay there trying to think. I recognized the sheriff's voice on the radio. The sheriff was trying to get the guy to just put me out of the car somewhere, but the guy said he wasn't stupid. He looked down and saw that I had come to, and he reached down and kind of mashed my head into the floorboard with his hand. At first I had my eyes closed because I thought he was going to kill me, but then I opened them. That's when I saw the sheriff's throwdown gun. That was the gun we used when we were fishing in case we needed to shoot a snake or get an alligator gar off the line. I could see it right beside an old beer can and an empty can of Skull. I reached up under the seat real slow. It was hard to reach. I thought that bastard was going to mash my head right through the floorboard. Finally got a hold of that throwdown gun, though. I figured I'd shoot this big bastard right through the bottom of the seat. I didn't know if this was going to count as helping the sheriff or not, but I figured it was a choice between breaking my promise and surviving this bastard. I'd prefer to break my promise and survive. There wasn't really much space under the seat, but I managed to get the gun pointed straight up underneath that bastard. I adjusted my grip just a bit and squeezed the trigger. The damn thing wouldn't fire. Damn, I squeezed the dang trigger as hard as I could, and it just wouldn't fire. I'm a dead man, I thought. Now, when you're in a spot like this, and you're going to die, there's no way out, you get a strange sense of calm. All of a sudden, you can think very clearly. I thought about EJ back at the jail. I thought he must be dead as a doorknob. This lousy bastard had sucker punched him, and his head hit those bars really hard. This made me mad. EJ was a good guy, and now he was dead because this lousy bastard hit him in the mouth. I was just laying there on the floorboard of the police car with this bastard mashing my head through the floor, getting madder and madder. I looked at the gun again, and I coughed up some more blood. I could taste it. You know, blood tastes just like when you're holding extra nails in your mouth when you're hammering something. My head hurt where the big bastard had a hold of it. I could feel the gravel flying up off the road and hitting the bottom of the car. I could feel the car slide a little as we went around bends in the road. When he'd slow down to make a turn onto a different gravel road, a big old dust cloud would catch us and it'd fill up the car. Even though it hurt like hell, that dust made me cough. Pretty soon I could smell pesticide too. We were down off the ridge. We must be out in the flats where they raise cotton and beans. I sniffed again. Defoliant, I thought. We must be out in the cotton. I was just thinking about all sorts of things. Hell, I was stuck. I wasn't going anywhere. I was just stuck there waiting for this big bastard to kill me. Why won't this gun shoot, I wondered. I was just looking at it. It worked shooting snakes. Why won't it work now? But then it dawned on me, hey, this gun, I thought, is just like what Walt's dad had. All the bullets go up in the grip in this thing called a magazine. Walt's dad had showed the gun to me, Walt, and Boo a million times. He always explained how it worked, and we had to learn how to take it apart and put it back together. It was a Colt M1911 .45 caliber semi-automatic pistol. It's a handheld cannon, he said. It was real heavy and had this little switch thing called a safety to keep it from going off accidentally. That switch. That damn safety was on. Quicker than crap through a goose, I fingered the safety off. I pointed the gun straight up under the seat. I'm going to blow this man's ass off, I thought. I squeezed the trigger and there was an explosion under the seat. It had fired. Wow. A skin must have got yanked off another cat somewhere, because that big bastard screamed a lot louder than Miss Catherine did when I hit her with the water glass. Now you got two assholes, I thought. I let go another shot to give him a third. That'll teach you to punch EJ in the face, I thought. He let go of my head and the steering wheel, but he stomped on the gas and was arched way up in the seat. Blood was spouting everywhere, and that big bastard was whooping like a wild Indian. He was almost dancing in the seat. I wanted to shoot again, but something was wrong with my hand. I couldn't shoot the gun. About that time, the car hit something really hard and stopped. I never would have guessed it, but the sound a car crash makes is identical to the sound a TV set makes when you knock it off the table and it hits the floor. First you hear the sound of glass breaking, and then a crunching sound, and then finally a bunch of cussing. You hear them all real close together. A huge dust cloud rolled in, and I could hear a loud hissing. I got bounced around the floorboard pretty good, which hurt like hell, like when the big bastard grabbed me up by the shirt. I saw the sheriff put a gun to the big bastard's head, but then I passed out again.
We're killing time in our own honky tonk with a bottle of wine. We're going up, we're coming down.
All right, so here's the scoop. I never was at the jail in Hernando. Never hung out with prisoners. Didn't get a tattoo. They're not who taught me how to chew tobacco. None of that. The closest I ever came in Mississippi to meeting a bank robber was when I went with Mama down to the Bank of Tunica. They had a branch at Walls, Mississippi. And she was going in to cash a check, and it seems to me that the guy held the door for her when we went in. Anyway, the bank had just got robbed. And that's the closest contact I've ever had with the bank robber. Was never kidnapped. And never shot a man through the bottom of his seat. I've gotten a lot of email about this particular sequence. No, no, none of this really happened. Although, speaking of email and stuff, I want y'all to know I've received some fairly hurtful emails about a variety of topics. My beard not being one of them, but y'all are just hurtful. So you know, mom and dad survived. Everybody's fine. It's a novel. Most of the craziness is made up, except for selling my brother. But that's a whole nother story. And I'll tell you, if you're going to sell your brother, get more than a Coke for him, because everybody's going to beat your ass. All right, well, that's it from the Empty Nest Bar and Grill today. If you haven't bought my book, go get my book. It's at Barnes & Noble. It's at Amazon. Target has it now. Any bookstore can get it. Walmart has it. You have to order it online, but Walmart has it. And Target has a better price than Walmart. It's available on Audible and a 5 CD set, and it's actually narrated by a really, really good voice actor. His name is Mike Romano. He's from over here at Mobile. So get the book. You need to remember what it's like to be a kid. See you soon. Bye.
It's a hell of a time. A hell of a time. Yeah, we're chilling out here. Ladies in the rear, her feet in the water. Her top disappears, drinking Malibu Patron.